In 1969, a serial killer sent a coded message to a newspaper. It was 340 characters long, symbols, letters, numbers, arranged in a grid that made no sense to anyone who looked at it. The killer claimed the code contained his identity, his real name, hidden inside the cipher, waiting to be found. The FBI couldn't crack it. The CIA couldn't crack it. The world's best cryptographers spent decades trying. For 51 years, nobody could read it. Then, on the 5th of December 2020, 3 amateur codebreakers sitting in their living rooms cracked it in 2 weeks. And what they found inside changed everything we thought we knew about the Zodiac Killer.
Before we get to the cipher, you need to understand what made this case unlike anything law enforcement had ever seen. The Zodiac Killer operated in Northern California between 1968 and 1969. He targeted couples in remote locations, at lovers' lanes, on rural roads, in parks after dark. He claimed 37 murders. Police confirmed 5. 2 more victims survived. But what made the Zodiac genuinely different from every other killer of his era was what he did after the murders. He wrote letters to newspapers, to police, to the families of his victims. Not 1 or 2 letters, dozens, over several years. Each one taunting investigators, each one revealing just enough to prove he was the real killer. Details only the murderer could know, while giving away nothing that would identify him. He signed every letter the same way, a circle with a cross through it, the Zodiac symbol. And inside 4 of those letters, he included ciphers, coded messages. He told the press that the codes contained his name, that if they could crack the cipher, they would know who he was. The letters stopped in 1974. The killer was never found, and for the next 46 years, the ciphers sat in police files, unsolved, mocking every investigator who tried. The Zodiac sent 4 ciphers in total. The first, a 408 symbol code split across 3 letters, was cracked within a week of publication in 1969. A schoolteacher and his wife solved it at their kitchen table. The decoded message was chilling. I like killing people because it is so much fun. It ended with the killer promising his name was hidden in a second, shorter cipher, one that has never been solved to this day. The second cipher, just 13 characters, has defeated every attempt at decoding for over 50 years. Some experts believe it doesn't contain a name at all, that it was a deliberate dead end designed to waste investigators' time. The third cipher, 32 characters, also remains unsolved. But the fourth cipher was different. The 340 cipher, named for its 340 characters, arrived at the San Francisco Chronicle in November 1969. It was the most complex of all of them. Laid out in a 17 by 20 grid of symbols, it appeared to have no pattern, no structure, no starting point. The FBI's cryptanalysis unit worked on it for years. University professors devoted research papers to it. Amateur codebreakers across 3 decades took runs at it and gave up. By 2020, most experts believed it would never be solved. Then David Aranchak heard about it. David Aranchak was not a cryptographer. He was a web developer living in Virginia who had been obsessed with the Zodiac ciphers since 2006. For 14 years, he had been studying the 340, writing software to test theories, publishing his findings online, going nowhere. In 2020, he connected with 2 other amateurs, Sam Blake, a mathematician in Australia, and Jarl van Eyck, a software developer in Belgium. 3 men, 3 different countries, none of them professionals, all of them working on the same unsolvable puzzle. Together, they built a new piece of software, not the kind institutions had used before, something that could test millions of possible cipher arrangements, combinations that would take a human thousands of years to work through by hand. They ran it. It took 2 weeks. On the 5th of December 2020, David Aranchak posted a video online. He was going to reveal, for the first time in 51 years, what the 340 cipher said. The true crime community watched it in real time. By the time the video ended, it had been viewed millions of times. The FBI confirmed the solution the same day. After half a century, the 340 cipher had been cracked.
The decoded message read, "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show." Which brings up a point about me. I'm not afraid of the gas chamber, because it will send me to paradise all the sooner, because I now have enough slaves to work for me, where everyone else has got to the blast, because I've been too clever for them. The spelling was poor, the grammar was erratic, but the content was unmistakable. He was taunting them. Still, even in the cipher he had given them, he had written nothing that revealed who he was. No name, no location, no identifying information whatsoever. The killer had lied. The cipher didn't contain his identity. It was never going to. It was a performance, designed to keep police chasing shadows, to keep his name in newspapers, to keep the world focused on his game rather than his capture. Investigators had suspected this for years. The decoded message confirmed it. 51 years of work, and at the end of it, nothing that brought anyone closer to finding him. But the story doesn't end there. Over the years, dozens of suspects have been named in the Zodiac case. Most were ruled out quickly. A few were not. The most prominent suspect, the one investigators have returned to most often, is a man named Arthur Lee Allen, a convicted sex offender from Vallejo, California. Investigators searched his home twice. They found evidence that pointed toward him in almost every direction, except the one that mattered. His handwriting didn't match. His DNA didn't match the saliva found on the Zodiac's envelopes. He died in 1992. The case was never closed. In 2021, a group called the Case Breakers, a team of former law enforcement officers and journalists, publicly named a different suspect, Gary Francis Post, a house painter from California who died in 2018. They claimed anagram evidence inside the ciphers pointed directly to him. The FBI reviewed their findings and declined to comment. The official position of law enforcement today is unchanged. The Zodiac Killer has never been identified. The case remains open. Of the 4 ciphers he sent, 2 have now been solved. 2 remain completely uncracked, including the 13-character cipher that may or may not contain a name. And somewhere in California, possibly in a box of old documents, possibly in a family member's memory, the answer may already exist. It just hasn't been found yet. The Zodiac Killer sent his last confirmed letter in 1974. He was never arrested, never charged, never identified. The 3 men who cracked his cipher in 2020 didn't find his name. But they proved something important, that even a code designed to be unbreakable by a killer who believed he was smarter than everyone looking for him could eventually fall. The unsolved ciphers are still out there. If you want to go deeper, next week on The Dark Files, we look at the BTK killer, the man who murdered 10 people, wrote to police for 30 years, and was finally caught because of one catastrophic mistake. That video is right here. Subscribe so you don't miss it. These are The Dark Files.